People call me old and smelly, but apparently that's not something scientists want to recreate. Their loss. Hey there, nosy viewers. Jules here for D News. Have you ever wondered what the world smelled like centuries ago? Everything probably smelled a little different, and some smells just aren't around anymore. For example, what about flowers that have long since gone extinct? It's a shame we'll never get to know their scent. Or will we? Well, scientists are actually working on unearthing old frozen flowers from the Ice Age. But to understand how those smells are coming back, you need to understand what a fragrance or smell is. Take something like a rose. For a perfume or body wash to contain the scent, roses are grown and picked, and then their essential oils are extracted, which contain aroma compounds. These are chemical molecules that bind to receptors in our noses, and the receptors then send signals to our brains, which interpret the compounds as smells. In fact, you can extract these compounds yourself at home by running steam through aromatic plants and then collecting and cooling the steam. For a long time, perfume makers would use this process, but it has huge problems. Mainly that it depends entirely on crop yield, which can vary year to year and be relatively unpredictable, and in some cases unreasonably expensive. So instead, scientists have developed a new method of creating smells, almost from scratch. See, the reasons plants have any smell at all is because their DNA contains genetic code that tells it to use enzymes to create specific types of aromatic chemicals, which are then used to attract pollinating insects. In roses, these chemicals include citronellol, geraniol, nerol, farnesol, linalool, eugenol, and rose oxide. It's a complex smell. But the fact is, the rest of the rose and its genetic coding don't really matter for perfumeries. They don't need the complete list. They just need the part that makes smells. So what scientists have done is take yeast, the one from bread and beer, and genetically engineer it. Normally, yeast consumes sugars and farts out alcohol and carbon dioxide in a process known as fermentation. But this yeast's DNA is altered to mimic the mechanisms in plants that create aromatic compounds. So instead, the yeast eats fatty acids and farts out good-smelling chemicals. That's a huge deal for scent creation because it leads to a more consistent, cheaper, and more efficient product. But what's even cooler is looking at recreating scents where we may not have the living specimen, but we do have its DNA. That's what a company called Ginkgo Bioworks is trying to do, using extinct plants that may be difficult or impossible to regrow, altering yeast to match those extinct DNA sequences. Unfortunately, this is a really lucrative and proprietary area, so they haven't released exactly how they're genetically altering the yeast in question. But the science behind the concept is decades old and has been used more and more in recent years as an alternative to the traditional method. Soon, you might just be able to buy a perfume that smells like flowers from another time. We can't do D News episodes like this without our sponsors. Thanks to K Jewelers for sponsoring this episode. For 100 years, every kiss begins with K. So we can find out what extinct flowers smell like, but what about space? What does space smell like? You can find out by watching this video right here. And what's your favorite smell? Let us know down below in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and keep coming back here for more D News every day.